In 1921, a partnership with the American basketball player Charles Chuck Taylor gave birth to the most iconic design in Converse history, the Chuck Taylor High Top. Back in the day, when these shoes came out, the original color was white, just like today's guest. He isn't white, but he sure is original, Edgar Blackmon. Edgar has graced the stages of Second City and performed in my favorite revue, South Side of Heaven, and more recently, he can be seen as Eddie in the movie Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I'm Damian Jason White, and this is Comedians and Chucks Getting Chicken.
Hello?
Yo, Edgar, what's up? It's Damian.
What's up, D? How you doing?
I'm doing well. What are you up to right now?
I'm at a comic book store, and I'm just checking out comics, man. What's up?
Okay, cool. You down for getting some Harold's right now? Get some good chicken?
Am I ever not Harold for getting some Harold, man? Yeah, I'm into it.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna meet you real soon then, alright?
Okay.
Alright, bye.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
Me, I would probably still buy. Like 2 weeks ago. And he probably had one of.
What's up, man?
What's up, baby?
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. How are you?
What were you just checking out?
Well, I was looking at this Punisher because it's penciled by Steve Dillon.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace. If you've never read Captain Marvel, I'm telling you, Marvel comics are like, we gonna get this lady and this minority money. You're not gonna miss us, fam.
Here are your shoes.
Hey! Do I get to keep these shoes?
Yeah.
I get to keep these shoes?
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, free chicken and shoes. I mean, every black improviser should be doing that. I'm like, Chris Redd, you up next. There's nothing like coming back to Chicago when it's cold.
Well, I'm a big fan of the holidays, and so Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I don't want to be warm when it's November or Christmas. I can't feel like it's really winter.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
I disagree with you.
Oh man, Chicago, man. It's Chicago over everything, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where'd you work in the city?
I used to work at cars.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I applied for them at one point, did not get the job.
Well, they're probably like, we've seen your kind before. You don't really want to do this.
I would be a really good salesman, but I have no desire to like sell my soul out for something, a product.
Oh, then you actually would not be a really good salesman. That's really the thing about that job. It's like, see shit like this. See this? See this right here? This beautiful.
Is this a poinsettia? What is this?
Nah, this is a regular ass bush.
Our stop today is a Chicago favorite, Harold's Chicken Shack. Founded by chicken entrepreneur Harold Pierce, Harold's began serving up dumplings, chicken feet, and soul food in 1950. 67 years later, Harold's is still going strong, satisfying Chicago's chicken needs. So when did you know that you wanted to do comedy?
Oh shit, never. When I was a kid, I never felt like I was like starved for attention. I was one of three, and I was the middle kid, and I was my father's. I was the only son, and I was the firstborn son on my father's side of the family. So I was like, in a lot of ways, I was like kind of a big deal. But it's interesting because like if you have a country family and you're a guy, like big deal is like kind of how it is, but you're also the person who gets the most like responsibility. Like I had all of those chores.
Yeah.
Like I'm two sisters, but I was like, who rakes the leaves? Who shovels the snow?
Yeah.
Who mows the lawn? Right? Who cleans the gutters? And so I never really felt like I was using comedy to get people to look at me. I just kind of felt like it was like a thing I was like good at. And I remember seeing Eddie Murphy's best of Eddie Murphy VHS tape at a friend's house. And I was like, whoa, that is the bomb.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like, not that I even really chose comedy as much as it was revealed to me that was what I should be doing. I was like, that's like you.
Right. So we've all been to different improv theaters in the country, whether it's New York, LA, Chicago, Florida. Being an African American in the improv community, comedy community, whatever, you know how it is. Like, sometimes you might feel like you're alone because you're in a group with
a gaggle of white dudes. Improv is an art form of privilege. Like, I mean, anyone can improvise wherever you want, but let's be real. Like, there's no open mic nights popping up all around the country for improv groups to do open mics like you would do like as a stand-up, right? A bunch of like you and your 6 friends don't get together and drive around to 6 different theaters at night and be like, we're gonna go up and do like another 5-minute set over here, then we're gonna drive over here. It's like, nah, man, that's not how it works. And to be educated in the ways of improv so that you can be the best you can be at it, you're probably gonna have to take a class. And I don't know of a theater that teaches a class for $10 a class or $20 a class. So improv, this is comedy through community, which I had done a little stand-up at that point, and I was like, that felt very different. Like, stand-up to me in those beginning stages felt like more like a talent show where like one person is clearly the winner. And improv never felt that way to me, and that's kind of why I continued to gravitate into it. And I was like, I really, really enjoy being able to get up on stage with people that are different from me and do this style of comedy that is very fly by the seat of your pants in a lot of ways, and then also encourages you to be in the moment, pay attention to the person that you're with, right? All that stuff that I felt like when I was doing stand-up, I didn't pay attention to anybody. Right. Unless it was to tell you how shitty your set was and how you stole Sinbad's jokes.
There was a show that you did called South Side of Heaven. Everyone talks about that show.
That show, I mean, the group worked really well together, I think. I do think that South Side, for what we tried to do, you know, we tried to do a show that wasn't straightforward. We like play a practical joke on the audience. Yeah. Which is, you know, we tried a bunch of weirdo shit with that show that didn't work.
There was also a scene known as Baseball People.
Baseball People! Yeah.
You got a problem with my Ozzy?
I don't know if I do. I can't understand a fucking word he says.
Well, fuck you, man. The Cubs, the niggas of baseball. How about that?
Hey.
It's like they always lose, but they still always be happy all the time and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, and everybody always be like, you guys get him next time. Keep your chin up. It's gonna happen for everybody down there.
I'll tell you, I straight up, like, we have all these issues in this country that weigh on the minds of us, as a society, all the time. But we choose not to get into it because it makes us uncomfortable. So we'll say things like, I wish we all could just be together and get along. I'm like, but until we talk about, you know, all of the things that separate us, then that's not gonna happen. So Baseball People was a way for me to do that. So I was like, I want to be able to call white people niggers. And not niggas, but niggers. Like, I wanted them to feel shitty about it. And I wanted it to be something that they identified with. So, like, the Cubs, saying the Cubs are the niggers of baseball, to me was like the most apt way to do it in Chicago, especially because what other group of white people are long-suffering and are the only people that believe in themselves, are almost like but bandwagoned by everyone else. Like, you know, you go to Wrigley, everyone loves to go to Wrigley, but everyone that goes to Wrigley is not a Cubs fan. Right. But the real Cubs fans, those white people that live up there, those people are hurt, and it's generational. Just like racism, it's generational. They got grandmothers and grandfathers who crying at the Cubs winning the World Series in the same way that you had grandmothers and grandfathers crying at the election of Barack Obama, this giant victory for African American people. And I was like, no, there's a ton of parallels here, and the people that come to this theater from Chicago, they'll get it.
We're gonna be attacking, detaching, and thrashing. Black men while laughing.
And then you went out to California.
I did.
And then you were also in Popstar, the Lonely Island movie.
Yep.
What was that experience like?
You know, you audition for stuff all the time, especially in Los Angeles. Like you audition, and you just kind of accept. I'm not gonna get this.
Right.
You're not gonna get most of it. You know, like in the year that I booked Popstar, I probably went on 70 auditions. And I got the phone call for it, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, this can't be it. This can't be it. This can't be what's happening. This can't be what's happening. They're like, you booked it, you're in, here's what you're gonna make, here's when you start. And I was like, what? But we go through this shoot, and I mean, we're improvising. We're, it's so funny. And you get to be around these guys that are like, there's no pretension because they're childhood friends, so they shit on each other all the time. And then you get on set, and I just remember being like, I'm ruined, I'm spoiled. Because Chris Redd was in that movie. And I've known Chris Redd, you know, Chris Redd understudied me here, so it's like my relationship with Chris was long-standing. So I was like, I get to be in a movie and see Chris. Yeah. Tim Meadows is in this movie. And I met Tim Meadows backstage at Second City. I did Tim Meadows' scenes as a touring company member. And so then I was like, yo, like another African American man from Second City is gonna be in this movie too? We gonna see him, you see him every day? And I'll tell you a real quick story about Tim Meadows. So I was like, I remember the first day of shooting, and I was like, I don't want to act like we know each other. Right. But we have met. So I'm just gonna be like, hi, what's up? And we'll see what happens. So I was like, hey, how you doing? And he was like, Tim, nice to meet you. And I was like, I'm Edgar. He does not know me. But we get in the van to go from base camp to the location. And I'm talking to Chris, and Tim's sitting behind us. And he just goes, the Cubs are the niggas of baseball. And I was like, hey!
So how, give some parting advice as far as getting through the next 4 years. Like, what advice would you give for an artist to try and like push through?
Well, I guess the realest shit I could say is get to work. We as artists are in a lot of ways, the conscience of society. We are the ones who poke fun at the things that need to be poked fun at. Comedy and art is what reaches people. There are millions great speakers and leaders and whatever. But people listen to artists. People listen to musicians. People get their hearts changed by movies and television and stand-up. I mean, God, Chris Rock said black people and niggas, and that thing was being talked about socially for 3-4 years. That's why we miss Chappelle's show. Not because it was funny. There's a lot of funny shit on TV, but that show was poking all of us in our sensitive places. So I would say it's time to get to work, man. Like, we are the ones that are going to hold America accountable. There are people that are gonna hold Trump and Pence accountable politically, what they can do as far as the government is concerned, the laws they can pass, but we have a responsibility to hold our society accountable. A lot of this just comes down to a lack of understanding. So as over the next 4 years, we have to get moving, and we have to be able to do more than just satisfy ourselves with our comedy. It's really gonna be on us to bridge this gap between what you can see now are like almost like two different Americas, and and show people that on both sides that there is work to do, and that we aren't there. Like socially, we are not there. We're not even close to there. And it's not enough for us to be on Facebook going back and forth. It's gonna have to be like engaging those people that we find to be reprehensible and continuing to find ways to say to them like, you wouldn't want this to happen to you. We can't spend 4 years feeling sorry for ourselves because as artists, you know, in this country especially, where we have the freedom to like speak out and use our art to speak out, and we're not gonna go to jail because we used our art to speak out, then we have to use our art to speak out.
So once again, thank you for coming out and
Man, it's my pleasure.
chatting with me.
Always.
You were great.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the meal.
I did.
That was free, but I'm gonna need to get the shoes from you.
These shoes?
Yeah.
Did I just put my feet into?
Yeah, we have. So we're gonna be doing monthly episodes, and
Right,
we have a
right.
budget, and I gotta return those shoes so that we can get new ones. You understand, right?
Oh, I understand. I understand. And let a nigga have nothing.
Okay. Turn that pinky up.
Who was? I know it's hot. I know I want to get that, you know, that hot chicken juice being
Right.
there, sealed in by the fry. You'd be like, oh no.
It's so good.
Now you know I care about you. And you brought me to a place that have a bunch of white people watching me eat chicken. It's for a good cause though.